He's sacrificing his time, you're going to give to him, and we're good to go. And we've now taken 5 people that weren't involved at all, and we've got them involved. And then the other one is their time as well. So other than coming here, it's actually getting them engaged. So that's the block walking aspect, it's the rally aspect, it's anything. It's taking somebody who you know cares about their country and saying, okay, I'm going to go this Saturday, and I'm going to walk for Jonathan Stickland, and you're going to come with me. I will come pick you up. I actually drove, I was in San Antonio at the time, and I always take 35 up to Arlington, but I had a friend in Marble Falls. And so I said, look man, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive to Marble Falls, I'm going to pick you up, and then I had to get up at 4 a.m. because I had to get him. And so I'm going to pick you up, and then we're going to go to Arlington, and we're going to drive back to Marble Falls, and we're going to drive back. And I did, and he didn't do a whole lot in politics, so that was a bad trip. But other people did. So that's what I want y'all to think about, growing the team. So first is help the guys that are there, because I guarantee you they need it, and they need the encouragement, and it's brutal being down there. Second is grow the team in one of those 3 ways. Third is just stay educated. I'm assuming everyone here is on updates, they're reading a lot, they're researching these issues. There's the organizations that'll keep you updated from a state level, like Empower Texans and Texas Right to Life and Texas Values. If you're not on some of these email lists, getting the updates, actually researching it, actually being engaged, please do that. My dad would always tell me, the only thing you need to know to be an expert is more than the person you're talking to. Which drove my mom nuts, but I think it's a great principle to live by. So, if you stay educated, you're then able to educate, right? I tell everybody, I don't vote once every election cycle. I usually vote about, 400 times, because I have all my friends that go to the polls and they just shoot me a text, I'm on my way, who do I vote for? So I write different counties in the San Antonio area out, so I just copy and paste, depending on where they live. And I just start doing that. And I get up, everybody in my church, I'm on my way, who do I vote for? It's really fun, because I get to vote against people that I don't even live in their district. So I'm like, this guy's terrible, vote no, extra no, vote no twice as much, hit it. So it's really fun. And I get to educate people on what undervoting means. If they're all crooks, just don't vote in that statewide election or something. So those are some of the things that I want to encourage y'all to continue to do. I don't know if that is helpful to anybody here, but the thing that encourages me is this. Texas is in a better place than it's ever been. The thing that encourages me is that we have leaders stepping up to take Texas to the next level, so we can actually stop following and we can start leading. And the other thing that encourages me is that this is nothing new. People have been fighting this fight for forever, because in 1901, Abraham Kuyper said, when principles that run against your deepest convictions begin to win the day, battle is your calling, peace has become sin. I think that's where we are today. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, let's do that. Sorry, I forgot. Does anybody have questions? Because we are happy to, he's here, and he's like a ton of knowledge right here in front of you. Johnny Marshall.
My question is there any way in hell Governor Abbott in a special session to get some of this conservative stuff done?
You can call Governor Abbott's office and ask him that question. I wouldn't be aware of anything. I think the only reason we have a special session is if we don't pass a budget. A lot of that's going to come down to kind of tax reform and some other issues that are going to come up. But I think unless the budget doesn't pass, I wouldn't think we'd have a special session. The other thing you might call it on is transportation funding. If they don't, the chambers are disagreeing on transportation funding, and so if that doesn't pass, there could be a special session there. But I think that's probably one of the two. And then, if he wants to expand pre-K more, he could call a special session for that too.
Hard work we done with knowledge of 19 people.
Excuse me?
We had the people in office, nothing's changed. I worked my butt off these guys down there. Jonathan Stickland's the only one that I know of that's performing. How come we put up this crowd?
Yeah, the truth is that we are getting, so keep things in certain perspective. When it comes to the change in the Texas Senate, you have to remember that the Texas Senate last session passed a budget that was $2.5 billion larger than what the House passed. In this session, they passed one $2.5 billion smaller. There's significant amounts of reform. We had border security funding increase for the first time ever. We've had bills have hearings and move forward the process. We don't get everything we want every time, But the truth is that I believe if you take the session, and I don't have time to sit down with 3,000 bills, I think if you take the session as a whole, we have moved considerably further right. Bills that sailed through certain chambers have actually died on different chambers. So I think we're moving in the right direction, but I think there's still quite a bit of work to be done. I agree with you.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
Any change in hell against any pro-life legislation passed in this session?
I think there is a chance that we get some pro-life legislation passed. Larry Taylor authored legislation that's now in the House, and I think may actually move through the process regarding whether or not insurance plans for for state employees and through Obamacare can pay for abortions. This would be a very, very strong pro-life piece of legislation. I'd keep around that. We're not guaranteed that it passes, but it has moved through the Senate. It is in the House. We'll see, but it might. It would be the first time in the last decade that we've actually passed a pro-life bill during the session without Governor Perry making legislators do it. So that would be huge. But there's a chance. Thank you. Yes, sir.
In the case of Zettler and other districts, the Libertarian won't ever drop out of the race. Is there any strategy to deal with that? Because they make the Democrat win.
In which district?
Almost any district where it happens, but that's what, if Zettler, if the Libertarian forced the Democrat to get elected, he would not drop out of the race.
I mean, the good news is that most of our conservatives are elected in districts that are heavily Republican. So whether they have Matt Krause, I was like, you could have a Libertarian, a Green Party, openly homosexual, a constitutionalist, a Democrat, a socialist, and you'd still win on straight ticket votes alone in Matt Krause's district. So I think it's okay for most parts. Question over here.
Yeah, there's one other pro-life bill that the pro-life groups are supporting, and it's Click's death panel bill.
Mm-hmm.
And so Johnny has to answer your question. Stephanie's got a bill that will restrict hospitals. No, I don't know. That's her, and I think that's what it is.
Yes, sir.
What do we have to do to get rid of Joe Strauss?
That's a decision by the legislature, right? It's a decision by the 150 members about whether or not they think the leadership is delivering what they want and what their perspective is on how they determine success, right? But the truth is that if we want to get conservative reforms through, we've got to have a fundamental change. Not only leadership at the top level, but a lot of it has to do with committee chairs and things like that. And so, changing as many state representatives out this election cycle will be really key to getting those reforms through.
One more thing, do you know how many of the chairships are chaired by Democrats?
I don't remember a percentage. It's more than the percentage they have in the chamber. I do know that. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Alba.
So one of the big issues this session is whether we should reduce property taxes, which the Senate's pushing, and in the House, they're pushing the sales tax cut. And the people in the House that I've talked to say that we have to do a sales tax cut. They say, well, because property tax reductions just don't work. How do you address that?
Kind of similar to some of the issues on this list. The people of Texas know what they want. It's why they keep changing people out. We had Republican senators lose their primary this last election cycle, which was largely unprecedented. And in the Texas House, all the turnover. And it has to do with people who just are kind of out of touch with their districts. People of Texas resoundingly, it's like 85 to 15%, 90 to 10, 80 to 20, depending on how you look at it, would like a property tax reduction versus a sales tax reduction. Illegal immigrants, drug lords, and pimps all pay sales taxes. And so why would you, everyone agrees that the sales tax is the absolute best way. There's a couple reasons why people don't like property tax relief at a state level. One is it costs the state money, so it ties their hands on money that they can spend on other government programs. That's one reason why the Texas House is pushing it. And the other reason is because the local governments have a lot of pushback when it comes to property tax relief. But the people of Texas have asked for property tax relief. So really the discussion between the chambers right now should be, how do we want to do property tax relief? Not do we want to do property tax relief. So if your state representatives want to say, I think appraisal reform and other things are a better way, that's fine. But the question is, what are you trying to prioritize? And if we're cutting taxes, the business franchise tax, the property tax, those are the issues. Sales tax is the best way to collect taxes, period, ever. Every time, twice on Sundays. One more question? Adam?
Well, more of a comment. I just want to point out for some of the folks who are frustrated with some of the business as usual, that at this point, 2 years ago, they were passing bad things left and right, and they're not passing near. Can you want to comment on the amount of bad stuff that's getting through the process?
No, I mean, the reality is the chamber is more conservative, and so it's harder for the amount of Democrat legislation that passed last time. I think you'll see a significant change in that. And that's not to tell you everything's rosy and awesome, because, well, I already said that. But the reality is that the chamber is in a better position, and that's due to a lot of the work that everyone here has put in. I mean, Tarrant County is, if the work that had been done in Tarrant County had been done in the rest of the state, we'd probably be answering the call that Texans have asked for, but unfortunately it's not, so we've got to continue to do our work. Are we good? Thank you so much.
Thank you, that was fantastic. That was actually better than I expected, so you did a great job. And I forgot, is Jake still here? Jake? Okay, do you have something for first-time visitors?
Yeah, I think
Okay, so normally I say this at the beginning, but if you are here for the very first time, make sure you go visit Jake. You can raise your hand and he'll hand you something, or you can just go back and see him. And then Ed, do we have the 50-50?
Yes.
So do y'all know how the 50-50 works? You donate money